Good morning, it's Tuesday, December 29th, and this is Slices of Wenatchee. We're excited to bring you a closer look at one of our top stories and other announcements every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Today, a historical look at the Columbia River's local influence. Today's episode is brought to you by Equilus Group Incorporated. Equilus Group Incorporated is a registered investment advisory firm in the states of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Equilus Group Incorporated, building your financial success. Learn more at equilusfinancial.com, member SIPC and FINRA. Now our feature story. If you had been standing on the banks of the Columbia River in the Wenatchee area some 100 years ago, the view would have been much different from today. The currents and the shoreline in those days meandered in different locations than it does now. Had you been here 1,000 years ago, you would have watched the native tribes conducting their daily lives and on occasion holding multi-tribal gatherings with thousands of participants. The Columbia River was the connector for traders and travelers too. And in 1811, a man named David Thompson led a crew of explorers along the Wenatchee River to the delta where it meets the Columbia River. There, the Thompson party encountered a hesitant group of horsemen of the Sinkawarsan tribe, and after a lengthy session of pipe smoking, the Thompson crew followed the horsemen to their village near the Rock Island Rapids. The visit went well, and in the evening, the explorers moved on. At the time, the Rock Island Rapids were notorious for being rough and nearly impassable, but the local tribes found the location good for fishing. But these days, the strong currents are controlled by the Rock Island Dam, which began operating in 1933. One concern with the Rock Island Dam construction was the preservation of the hundreds of petroglyphs at the site. Luckily, as many as 140 of the petroglyphs have been preserved in the form of photographs and drawings. You can still see them on display at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. Unfortunately, some locations were not preserved when the dam was built. The river delta lost much of its landmass when the water rose higher. In fact, the confluence of the Wenatchee and Columbia Rivers, now known as the Horan Wetlands and Wildlife Area, looks nothing like before the dam. Since 1930, the confluence delta has submerged by 37%. Another change, the pipeline bridge running between Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. It was completed in 1908. Not only did it carry water across the river, but people as well. Soon the ferries were no longer needed. Even more important than bridges was the railway, which reached Wenatchee in 1892. The ease of railroad transportation gradually won over the slow and hazardous river travel, and by 1915, the stern wheelers had served their purpose. The Columbia River keeps on serving the Wenatchee area as a natural resource. The present-day expeditions are done by fishermen and kayakers on leisurely outings. And one thing remains unchanged, the eagles still find their food in the currents like they always have. Next, you may not be traveling too much these days, but we have great ideas for day trips you can take this winter season. Okanagan isn't known for being very populous, but what it lacks in residents, it makes up for in wide open land. With quaint towns and breathtaking landscapes, the county is the perfect place to get out and explore. Whether you're a history buff, golf enthusiast, fisher, skier, or shopaholic, there's something for you. Sitzmark Ski Area has 80 acres of terrain for all skill levels. They even offer snowmobiling. Then there's Omak, the shopping heart of the Okanagan Valley, with big box stores and restaurants. It's also home to the 12 Tribes Casino, the newest and biggest casino in north-central Washington. There's also Winthrop, known for its rustic cowboy aesthetic that it's been sporting since 1971. It has storefronts in 1800s style with saloons and breweries. It's also home to the Mettow Trails headquarters, which manages the 120 trail system. There, you can ski or snowshoe. To learn more about great winter activities not too far from home, check out the Wenatchee Valley Visitor Guide. Finally, some local history. Wenatchee Valley History is brought to you by Neighbor, your trusted neighborhood community. Neighbor is a free online forum you can trust to connect with your community, focus on facts, and make a difference. Join the conversation. Visit wenatcheeworld.com/NABUR. According to Mark Beller, curator at the Wenatchee Valley Museum, the name Wenatchee comes from the Yakima Indians to the south. It is from their word Wenatsa, which means water gushing out. Thanks for listening. We'd also like to thank our sponsor again, Equilus Group Incorporated, a registered investment advisory firm in the states of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. The Wenatchee world has been engaging, informing, and inspiring North Central Washington communities since 1905. We encourage you to subscribe today to keep your heart and mind connected to what matters most in North Central Washington. Thank you for starting your morning with us, and don't forget to tune in again on Thursday.